Hi, how you doing, guys? Yo, so I'm in for a challenge. I want to take my $400 account to about $4,000, and with a keen strategy for my pocket option. Uh, and this is the first day of the journey. So I want you to head to my chart. I've taken the trade and I want to break it down so you can see why I took those trade and the confluences that was met before I executed those trade setup. Let's head to the chart. Okay, so here in the chart, there are some things I want to see before I execute my trade setup. So what do I want to see before I execute my trade? First, I want to identify my zones, which is the higher highs, the lower lows. So I first try to identify the zone. You can see this green here. You can see this green underneath here. This shows that these are the zones that I identified first. And after identifying that, I went deep into identifying the mid zones too. So this is a mid zone, and this also is another mid zone. So I started watching the chart from this portion and I waited till it get to this point. So that is still another thing I want us to learn from this. It takes patience while you are on a trade. It takes patience for you to see your perfect setup play out well. So after identifying the zones, the next thing I want to do is to understand the chart patterns, to understand my tendencies. What is the chart reading? What is the chart reading? So from here, let me use a let me use a white lines to. So what do I see here? This was a downtrend here, and it came all the way down here, made a pullback here, and continue moving downward. So this is a downtrend. But when it got here, it made a move to the upside, came down, make another move to the upside, came down, and then it started running up to the upward direction. Now, if you can see here, what happened here is there is a squeeze. So always take note that a squeeze happens before a run. So I call this a run and I call this a squeeze. So you can see even this, there is a little squeeze here that happened here before this run was made. So this squeeze here happened and then it made this run and it retested, came back to a zone here, made a little squeeze here again, a W before it took off. Now there's something I want you to note. It's just for me anyway. Um, before my best trade setup is me identifying the chart patterns. And what are the chart patterns I like to trade? I like to trade my M pattern and my W pattern. So on this M and W pattern, what do I want to see? You can see this is like a double top and this is like a double bottom. What I want to see is I want to see a W being formed and about going up, but made a little pullback and continue going in that direction. So where am I interested to trade? I am most likely interested to take my trade just here because W has been formed. That's one of the confluence. The next confluence is a pullback has been made. That is second confluence. Then the third confluence is my level line being broken here. Once my level line is being broken here, then there is every tendency for me to take a 3 minute trade, and it should be closing somewhere up here. So this same analogy goes for an M pattern. So an M pattern will go like this, and before it comes down, it gives me a little pullback, and then it starts going towards the downward direction. But before it goes, I wait to see my level line break here, and then I take a 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 4 minutes, as the case may be. So that is still the same thing that I want to identify here before I execute my trade. So if you can see here, a W was formed here, but because I didn't see a pullback somewhere here, I did not take the trade. I was expecting this to be a pullback too, but it came 4 candles downward, and then my bias changed. My bias began to change, but I was still watching at the trade. So seeing it, watching at the trade, seeing even at this candle, I almost wanted to take the trade here, but I was still patient to see what is happening, the overall market tendencies of this zone. So I saw a W pattern was also formed here, and I'm like, let me see. My bad. Let me see. So I waited and I saw a confirmation here that okay, um, a this zone here, this zone here, it has broken the my mindset onto the upside direction. So at a point of seeing this, I was anticipating to see a sell next. So and remember, because we are on this zone, so there are tendencies that it's because this market is a squeeze from if we go check from our 5 minute, because here this is a 1 minute candle, this is a 1 minute time frame. So if we go check on our 5 minutes time frame, we are going to identify that this is probably like a kind of a squeeze, because this is a zone. So coming here, I could see that okay, this zone was not respected anymore, but there are more likely tendencies of getting a sell trade here. So I saw this, I identified this as okay, the buyers, the sellers are now interested, the buyers are now weak to buy more of this trade, so the sellers are now interested. I waited and I saw this confirmation. So another confirmation that I saw was, remember from my chart pattern, what do I like to see? I like to see so this is like an M pattern here. So I like to see an M pattern, then a pullback, and then my level line break towards that direction. So it happened here. Let me identify it. Um, you can see an M, you can see this little M that was formed here, and then I could see a pullback. So this pullback, it did not cross above this last high. So had it been it broke through this last high, then I would be, my bias towards a downtrend movement is going to change. But because it did not go past this high, that means there are still tendencies that this trade is going to move towards the downside. So I waited and I could confirm that it created a good level line break here. And then I entered my trade for 3 minutes and I smacked the trade. So guys, this is a little breakdown for the trade. One thing I want you to take out of this is that first, I drew my zones. Second, I identify the chart patterns that is happening inside those zones. And what are the chart patterns that I like to see? A W pattern and an M pattern. So searching for my W or my M pattern, the next thing I want to confirm is I want to confirm my level line break. So if my level line should break well after the close of a candle, I could identify my level line break. Then I am confident to take a 3 minute or a 4 minute trade. Yeah. So that is all I have for you today. Peace out.